brothers Wisp. The brothers Wisp, brothers Wisp. The brothers Wisp. The brothers.
You're now listening to Greg, it's the Brothers Wisp. Let's take a ride through space on this mothership. While you're listening.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy with the Brothers Wisp. We're at WISPAPalooza 2025. Might be the last year we're here at
Paris.
the last
It is.
year at Paris
Or Horseshoe.
and Horseshoe. So many a memory.
No more blue bar.
No more blue bar.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What's
I'll
scheduled for next year? You seem to know stuff.
I think it's
Caesars.
Caesars. Yeah.
Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
It was going to be the Caesar,
I've heard that
Caesar's
one
Forum,
before.
but it's Caesar's Palace now.
Yeah. All right. Introductions. Right here next to me is Dennis Burgess with LinkText.
Yep.
And Tower Coverage.
Tower coverage. Yep.
Yeah, my brain.
It happened.
We have Jeremy Austin with Precinct. Justin Miller with I can't read that.
Skywire.
Oh, yeah,
Virginia
it's just
Skywire.
Virginia Skywire. Okay, it was a little bit difficult. And then it's Aaron
Larson.
Larson with Spit Spots.
Yep.
Sweet, I got it, and I didn't have
Yeah.
to read it.
Oh
And
yeah.
It's not even on your shirt.
Everybody
again.
stumbles
We should
over
get
the
an,
silent
we should
W.
get like an award for having the hardest
You
names in the
do.
show.
It is
Yeah.
the worst. Yeah.
And the best story, I got a whole like 20-30 minute story to go along with that name.
Oh man, we'll have to hit that up.
How it
sometime.
came about, or
Yeah.
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 That's
Why
awesome.
it is what it
I
is.
think that's a special session.
a special edition.
We'll do an interview after.
Yeah, the extras.
Yeah, extras. So yeah, I'm not going to be sad to be leaving here.
You don't like Paris?
Nah, I don't like Vegas. So I'm looking
Okay, I
forward to
understand
a
that. I
couple
understand
years when we leave Vegas entirely, which is supposedly in the
Maybe,
works.
possibly, don't know, cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the Paris. The hotel is fine, and there's plenty of food options in the hotel.
Yeah.
Are they expensive? Yes, but typically you don't need to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Caesars
Try
has
not
an
to.
animatronics though, and a giant fish tank.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
I'm certainly looking forward to some diversity of locations. One of the things I love about WISP America, and looking forward to Atlanta, actually.
Yep.
That's going to be fun next spring. For those of you who haven't come, you should come. It definitely creates a different feel of a conference. Although, should we talk about attendance at this one?
Yeah, a little bit down.
Not well. Okay, so you can't say the precisely, but barely down from budget. So we're hitting our targets.
Mhm.
We'll make money as a show, which we need to do. That's
Yeah.
what funds WISPA.
Yeah.
Funds all the advocacy efforts. There are vendor dues too and member dues, but we need the shows. So not too bad. I like the feel of the slightly smaller show. It ended up being a couple hundred
Yeah.
below.
As not a vendor, so I don't have anything to sell. I think whatever, and I only just now heard the attendance number. Whatever the attendance was, I think it's the sweet spot for like comfort and connection and getting a lot out of the show. It didn't feel crowded. It didn't feel empty. It didn't feel like everyone I wanted to
Energy
see was
was
here.
good.
Yeah.
And I made everyone in our team made lots of connections and got a lot out of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak for sustainability or profits
Yeah.
or whatever, but
Well, I mean, WISPA peaked out about like 2,500 people in WISPAPalooza. I think that was
Post-COVID.
probably post-COVID or pre-COVID. Somewhere around
Probably
there.
pre.
Probably pre, but
Maybe pre. Yeah.
yeah. The Oklahoma City, I actually really like Oklahoma City as the city because they have
extremely pleasant.
very nice.
Good conference center too.
Yeah, the conference center was plenty big. It was very nice. Great food options.
Decent food, and I really like that everybody could come back to the bar at the hotel afterward. I mean, that's what we liked about the Rio is
Yeah.
everybody ends up hanging out at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
So-
my frustration with the Blue Bar is like,
It's not a great place for it.
It's super small.
It's small. The service. I'm just gonna say what it is.
Constrained.
It sucks.
It's constrained.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they want you to go gamble.
Maybe Caesars. We got to go scope it out and see. Is this going to be good? Yeah.
Yeah. We got to figure out where it's going to be the good spots to hang out ahead of time.
So
So
we'll figure that out.
yeah, we'll send people out.
Yeah. That's another side note. Side quest.
All right. So what was the cool things you saw at the show? Because there wasn't a lot of big announcements from like the major, like Cambium, Tirana, and Ubiquity. they all have done their announcements separate from WISPA recently, basically. Other than Cambium's Evo, they kind of went in a little bit into more details.
Cambium had Josh Haven was showing me Cambium's power over fiber.
Yeah, it was
Where-
talking
Oh
about that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
It's really power
it's
with
a patch,
fiber.
It's a
Yeah.
patch cable
It's not-
that has 30 gauge
It's over if
in
you hang it.
Yeah.
Right.
And the SC connector has two little plates where when you
Mhm.
plug it into something, it grabs the power out of it. And they had a PLC splitter, which was also a PDU, which took the power in that you were feeding and then put it out on the other.
And could you feed PoE as well on that?
Well, the endpoints, like when you plug it into, they had the access point that you would plug it into. And-
Traditional PoE application.
yeah, so it was an ONU and all in one
And a
access
splitter.
point is what
all,
they're
all
thinking.
in, on one connector.
And so you put the AP up and you run this power and fiber to it. You plug it right in. It's going to power the AP, and they have the distribution in the PLC for power and all that. So that's what they were going for.
It's neat.
It's neat.
It's
yeah.
Longer runs. So like
Yes.
if you're cabling
Yeah.
a large building,
Yeah.
you don't have to necessarily do switches every.
Yeah.
The
number
only
rises.
downside is it's probably going to be proprietary.
Well, the cables that they were saying you can buy them on AliExpress right now. China
That's what he's
uses
telling
these
me.
cables.
Yeah, he said it's not
It's,
proprietary.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
actually
that's
not.
good.
Josh, he said I wanted to build it, and I found out they've already built it.
Yeah.
So it's-
Man,
And so I have some pictures of it. I can show you. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
just
I guess-
hasn't reached widespread use here, but
Yeah.
maybe we'll see more of it.
Yeah, I'm
You
really
never know.
excited because you can get pigtails for it. So if you want to build your own custom,
You just need
link
compatible
cable.
break in, break out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It
So you
did-
just need to have the right wire.
It didn't seem like there was a lot, like wasn't a hot new thing. Like the last couple of shows, there's been some vendor who had the hot new thing that everyone was talking about. And this show felt more like iterative. Like
like
there
last
was
year people were
lots of
talking about
vendors.
AI, and now we have AI vendors here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was lots of vendors had new things. And so it seemed iterative, like it was an evolution, but not like there was no like new species announced.
Yeah.
Right?
The one cool product I liked was they had the remotely movable horizontal, vertical 2 and 3 foot dish and
I
antenna
saw that in the
radius.
spring.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
staring at
And
that like, what on earth is this?
neat, but the pricing I heard, we sat at breakfast this morning trying to come up with how can that pricing work in a WISP or any model, and we just couldn't come up with anything.
So I interviewed the guy.
Mhm.
So like one of their uses is if you're doing cow work a lot, you can just throw your radios on those on the
Then
cow.
you aim it. Yeah.
and
Or you want to do
toss
a
it out.
festival.
that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. I was trying to think like, why would you once you point it, you're good. Like,
Well, I
right?
mean, I'm sitting
But
there
the
thinking,
cow
did our
makes
tower
sense.
installer really suck that bad? And we have to realign it every time. That would stink.
Yeah.
But I guess the cow usage would probably be a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But
So-
it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's
Or
not
like construction site, maybe, more temporary applications.
or like it's a construction site, so like whatever that thing is might be moving around,
Or you just have a
taken
lower
down.
skill person putting it up and a remote expert.
Yeah,
The-
that could
Do
be. a
you
good
want
one,
your
too.
construction guy
the
aiming your dish?
Yeah.
Right?
just
the
you just
difference,
drive
though,
the
is
truck
you
in and park
You
it.
still got the cost is way up there for that.
Well, if you're using it a number of times and you figure out how much it costs you to aim, I mean, I've been the guy who's had to go back after 2 failed installs on somebody could fail to aim it. Like, it would've paid for
it's
itself.
It's a lot more than 2.
Well, and what's it cost
Yeah.
to fly somebody somewhere just to aim an antenna? If it's like a
okay.
mobile setup kind of a thing,
Yeah.
what's it cost to
in
fly the
Alaska,
expert?
a lot.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
still talking multiple flights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the numbers I got. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a doable product. And like you just said, especially on like
A
the
niche
station
thing.
side, where you take the mobile unit and you align that dish, and then you remotely aim the tower side. That makes perfect sense.
It might get cheaper over time too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Quantities,
maybe another
you never
vendor
know.
will come out with
Yeah.
something else and then
And
it'll
don't
drive
get
price
it was
down.
very, very well built.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yes.
no, I talked to the engineer and I was
Yeah,
impressed.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
even his second iteration, the things that he was improving, clearly they put some love and care into that.
Yeah.
And
So-
it's a neat product, but I mean, otherwise, I didn't see anything that, as you just said, there's nothing that went, wow,
Mhm.
I have to have it or I have to need it. But I'm also not an operator anymore, so
Right.
So for me, that was QC because
Well, let's talk
I
about the
have-
emerging tech showcase.
Yeah, they won the emerging tech
Well, should we talk
showcase.
about that? It's,
Yeah,
it's a whole
this is a
new.
new-
So let's
Yeah.
just start. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
start
So,
from the beginning. Just,
For the very first time,
New format.
They had
Dragon's
a new
Den.
format that was emerging tech showcase, and they put out the request for vendors to throw their hat in. What are you
Make a
going to
pitch.
show?
Yeah.
And 27 vendors
Wow.
threw their hat in, wanted to show something. 8 were picked out of that, and then we sat for
2
2
days.
days from 1 to 2:30 and listened to 15-minute speech or pitch, and then had 5 minutes of questions. And
Oh, so that's why I came around.
the judges asked the questions. So and then
So who are the judges?
it was, I don't know. I'm not.
Well,
no,
Adair.
It was
Put him on the
Adair.
spot, man.
It was
I
Adair,
know,
Cameron,
It's been 2 days.
and I'm kind of fried.
Cameron Kilton,
It was me,
Justin
Adair,
Miller.
and Brian.
Oh yeah,
Brian
Brian
from-
Vargas.
I saw that there was an emerging
John
tech
Gills,
thing. I
yeah.
didn't know it was a contest. Who won?
Yeah,
Well, we'll talk
QC.
about that.
QC
Okay.
one, yeah. So we had a Google form to fill out for each one that had innovativeness.
You're ranking them.
Yeah, we
according,
were ranked
scoring
from
them, yeah.
1 to 10, and then we had some free forms that we can fill out too, like what's the biggest risk we see, what was the coolest thing about this product, and overall general.
So you were
comments.
voting
And would you-
independently, and that was
Yes.
being touted.
Yeah, but Adair was
tabulated.
copying mine, so.
An original thought in that pretty boy's head.
So
I just can't wait until he sees this video.
yeah,
Good.
so we did 4 the first day, 4 the next day, and then it was announced today, and QC1 ultimately won the
First place, yeah.
first place, and so their product
Maybe
basically looks at data at rest or and does settlement of the call and recommends things, but it's after the fact, after the call's over. It grades your call center for quality control and for training purposes, and potentially for callbacks. So like if they mention something, can flag the call. Like if you have a keyword like mentioning a competitor or something, flag it to be brought up, and then you can call back and follow up on that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool.
so. It
But-
basically, and I'm just making sure I understand. You have your inbound calling. You're recording all the calls. It then reviews those calls, and based on what you have said, it's using some type of AI to understand what the conversation
Yeah.
was.
Sentiment analysis.
yeah.
Yep, and you can tie it in with your ticketing system, with your
Our data.
NMS, and
Precinct data,
pre-team. Sonar is supported, and
So, why would you tie it into? I
it
guess
can
I'm trying-
aggregate more information. It's based on the phone number or as it's listening to the call, maybe the username gets read out or the person's name, so you can
Okay, so
identify
it's
And
literally
gonna go-
listening while
It's
the
tying
call
it back
is
to your
going on.
customer
Yeah.
records.
Yes,
and
and
it's displaying information to the agent.
Yes,
Okay.
well, not during the call,
It's
after
it's
the
an
fact.
all analysis.
So it will go back and it will review all the information that it can find from whatever systems you give it access to, and then it basically can put that back into your ticketing system as a summary, or it actually they have their own interface, and you can grade all your CSRs, and it can even put a post into your Slack channel like, attaboy, the CSR got 100% on their score for being nice on the phone and solving the person's problem or whatever
Yeah,
criteria.
and mentioning
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You put all those requirements.
And this
in.
person was able to get like a 5-star review or ask for it or whatever. And
Ideally, you're reducing your churn,
Yeah.
predicting churn, reducing churn.
yeah, the churn was
Yeah,
another thing
it's
on
a-
there
it's a
that
big
we're
one.
talking about. So.
Yeah.
And that's a good use case for an
And
LLM
improving
today.
customer service experience. Is
Yeah, and
generally.
from my perspective, immediately we have an archive of calls from 3CX that we have uploaded to a server, and I can just point this at that and then get information that I currently don't have, like ticket classifications or call classifications. How many calls am I getting from a property, or is there one particular person that's calling in? Are they talking about other stuff? All kinds of stuff.
So you might be able to use it to reduce the amount of time it takes for a person to actually touch the ticket as well, because often there's metadata
Yeah.
you've got to put in to say, okay, how did we resolve it? If you can
And
have
they-
some of that enhanced, that speeds up.
They do have integration with call pop and stuff, so they can, based on the phone number, pull a lot of information before you even answer the phone. They do
Yeah.
have that too.
Yeah,
have
So,
that.
But I can say that so we haven't used that product, but we built our own, a while back, our own tool that's very similar with Ethereal, and the call comes in, AI analyzes it. Our main use case has been it creates a call summary from the perspective of the CSR, posted in a Slack channel so the CSR can see if it's accurate and what they want in their call log, and then copy and paste. And it saves them quite a bit of
just
time.
typing.
Because all the
Yeah.
time that they
Logging
would be
that in.
typing, all they have to do is read, say, because 90% of the time it's exactly what they want, copy, paste, move on to the next call.
I imagine it
And
helps them
it's
focus
really
on the
helpful.
call while they're in it, rather than focusing on like documenting.
Yeah,
it.
they don't have
Yeah.
to be trying to
Yeah.
remember everything
Yeah.
the whole
And-
time.
and from-
it's super helpful.
Yeah, and from the owners or the supervisor's point of view, you can easily flag words that, like you said, a competitor's name or something like that. And now, hey, this word was said, and maybe it's a competitor, but now all of a sudden it flags that call to where now you can actually review it and understand what they're saying. What they're saying about your competitors, or maybe good or bad. So
Should we talk about the other ones?
Yeah.
So Wisdom was number 2, and Cameron Crumbs.
Regular solutions.
Yes, but what the name of the product? There's a,
Level 9?
no, it is a
That's
RF
anything.
propagation
Yeah.
analysis system that ties in with the PDC filing stuff that they're doing. I
Yeah.
cannot,
I know
unfortunately, remember the name of the
Federated
product.
has some new thing that's really similar to that my guys were talking a lot about.
But I couldn't summarize Wisdom quickly. Could you?
It's a RF propagation tool
They're
that
both,
had
yeah.
1 meter clear data across the U.S. and they have another type of clutter data, and they switch between the two. But they have a GPU farm where they do ray tracing for all the points on, like they can simulate all the houses and everything.
Cool.
And
That's okay.
like they were showing like on the roof of a house, they put little dots where they think that would be best on the roof. And the guy was
Does CN Heat do that kind of a thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to CN Heat,
Yeah.
and so
Anyway.
hate to say it's stuff we've been doing for 10 years.
Well,
Yeah.
so you're seeing some interesting competition. So I wouldn't say commodification yet, but
the
everyone's got an angle.
Yeah, and the 100% LiDAR coverage, the big issue with that is, I'll just use the state of Kentucky, is when the state of Kentucky did their project, the first round of their LiDAR project, now you have 1 round of LiDAR data. It is full of artifacts, like think power lines.
Yeah.
You have a 50-foot wall in the line, in the
Transmission
way,
line.
and that's
it looks
because
like it on the propagation map.
right, and
Yeah.
that's what shows up, and that's the problem is a lot of the LiDAR data is just a single pass, especially if they're saying they have 100% coverage. We use the USGS data, which requires all LiDAR data to be a 3-pass system, and in two differing, basically winter and summer. So
You get foliage and you get proper.
right, you get everything, and they also do a lot of correction, and that's one of the reasons why every Tuesday we literally scan the entire U.S. 249 terabytes of data, looking for did they change something, did they add stuff, did they do something with it, so that we can then update our data set. So I'm not saying what they're doing is great, bad. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying what we have found.
It's going to be as good as the data you put into it.
Right. Yeah. What
for
we have
sure.
found is the
Yeah.
data. Most
Yeah.
of that extra data is not really useful.
I think just big picture, it's real. It could be promising for the industry to see this attention from multiple vendors on our
Yeah.
propagation tools, because I think it signifies the importance of fixed wireless
Mhm.
in the telecommunications industry in general. That there's
The acquisition of Starry by
mhm,
Verizon.
that
Yeah.
there wouldn't be
That's
so much
news.
attention to RF propagation if there wasn't a demand for high quality RF propagation tools. And
And
that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for our industry.
With the existence of these kind of tools, like that makes it easier for the bigger carriers to have installers to be able to do intelligent installs.
Well, I assume a lot of them are doing some of that in-house anyway at some point, but it's still, I like the pressure of the creativity that you get when you see, there's definitely always room for innovation. So it's fun to see somebody making a go of it.
Yeah.
I could see someone probably taking that clutter data that you're talking about with those artifacts and stuff, and then taking satellite maps, the imagery, and using AI to
So
compare
that's the other
and line
company.
stuff up. And
That's what they were doing. The problem is that now you have a 60-foot telephone pole, and instead of it being a telephone pole, it's a the size of a freaking house.
I would think like AI would be able to figure that out, and
That's what the AI figured out. That
Yeah.
it's the size of a house.
Yeah.
So
or not to get rid of it.
I'm not saying that AI is not awesome, but it definitely has a way to go.
It
still.
could be trained to
Yeah.
recognize those huge walls, transmission lines,
Yeah.
based on satellite aerial photos.
Yeah, and like I said, there was. I thought there were two of them,
Yeah.
and one of them didn't have that, but they were basically taking all that data and they were filling it in with AI, and they definitely had similar issues where they had artifacts in the data.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you train it, I guess if you could train that, it could get better. But
Yeah.
we're at Tower Coverage. I think we were just going to stick with the government data that is, for the most part, known good, and some human has actually looked at 99% of it.
Yeah.
So
So what was the last one?
Regulatory Solutions.
Regulatory Solutions.
Cameron's product. It's another
Oh,
tower propagation mapping software.
Okay.
So
So that was the top four.
three.
There's the top three.
Just
okay.
what were just in terms of general categories, what were some of the other things that were interesting but not mapping? Because that's two mapping products.
There was an E-band radio that was a potential multi-point radio.
Yeah.
We
The
was looking
intercom
for-
one?
31 gigahertz.
No?
a Strom.
No.
That was the first
Intercom.
presentation that we saw had the 31 gig
Yeah.
radio.
Saw that one.
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
I don't remember the
It's
name of it.
Intercom is the maker of
Yeah.
the radio.
Yeah, but
it's with Cirigo.
Saragon?
No,
no.
I can't remember the name of the
It's
company.
a local company here.
Yeah, they basically bought a whole bunch of 31 gigahertz
Yeah.
band across the United States, and now they're subleasing it to
Right.
They're
WISP
aggregating
as
it,
point
so
to
you can
put it, you
multi-point
can put it up.
with 31 gigahertz.
They had some demo links here in town that you could look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
It's on the agenda.
I'm pulling it up
Okay.
right here.
It was the first. It was the very first.
Geolinks.
Geolinks.
Geolinks,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's fun to see. Well, of course, a lot of us do love to see new hardware, right?
Oh yeah.
If that
So-
new intercom point to multi-point works well, like if it actually does what they say it does, that's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
5 miles for point to
That was-
multi-point.
And then
that
easy
was-
licensing
wave.
because if they
But
have
that
if they
wasn't intercom. That was the
It's
Stromi,
Geolinks.
whatever.
For wait, which one are you talking about? The
The-
point to multi-point with the it was like
They
24
called it.
degree.
They called it hybrid
Gigamesh.
something.
Yeah,
beam
Gigamesh.
steering.
Yeah. I thought those guys were cool because that's the self-aligning for
Yeah,
your point to
like
multi.
3-degree beams, and according to them, like weather is not going to be a big deal. It can
at
go
those
5
frequencies
miles.
better than 60 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, way better, way less oxygen absorption.
And
Yeah.
presumably less sensitivity to rain.
Yeah.
So,
Oxygen
more-
is mostly up at
The more point to multi-point solutions we can get that can do gig, the better.
the better.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the big, like, people want to get a gig on
Holy
their
grail,
speed test.
So yeah, but the E-band guys, they were like, there's point to multi-point in there, but it's like point to point to point. It's not really designed.
It was
to be
point to two. They
Two.
can
One.
support two clients.
Yeah.
And they tested 3, and they think they can do 4.
Within what kind of a beam width though?
It was
24.
45-degree view
Oh, okay.
shed on it.
Okay, that's pretty
so
good then.
it was pretty good.
So that sounds like a scheduling limitation, not necessarily an RF
It
limitation.
was a application issue too. Like they just didn't see an application to have
That
that
much
many
bandwidth.
E-band radios connected to one.
Well,
access.
if you're an ISP, maybe you feel
Yeah,
differently
and
about it.
it's- Yeah, they were
Yeah.
testing that stuff in India. So
Yeah.
But they were pretty cool. And a set of those is like 10 grand.
That's not bad at all.
No, for especially multi.
For backhaul applications.
Yeah.
this is a Strom that we're talking about. ASTROME.
Everybody was looking at the lightweight,
Free space optics?
Yeah, the free space
Yeah.
optics.
That
Those
was
are not.
Transcend.
No, that's
Terra.
Terra. Yeah.
Terra.
Well, that was
I don't know how
that
you
wasn't
pronounce that.
part of the emerging
No.
showcase.
Yeah, it was not,
was
it was
the
not.
competitor, which had one that was about this big that did up to 40 gigs. I've heard of them before. The Transcendental.
Transcelestial.
But we're
Transcelestial,
talking
yeah.
like 60
Have they
to
made
80K.
it cheaper?
There were,
for
they said it was 17 grand a link still.
For
Now,
40
when
gigs, that's pretty good. But
That's
how,
better
No,
than
that was
another.
for 25.
That was for 25.
40 gig is build to order.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So when I talked with them previously, I talked with them like 21, and they were trying to sell the link as a lease. And they were like, okay, so how much is a 10 gig link for you? for your term, and that they were trying to charge that for those radios. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to pay $60,000, whatever the 6-year term or 5-year term for this 10-year. I'm not going to compare it to that.
Not when you also have to pay
Yeah.
a tower lease and.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
And-
But
Well, yeah, they need to be, you have that price, and if they're using that price to calculate, then they need to freaking figure out how can we save you some money.
yeah,
They're
it
trying to
wasn't-
maximize the profits, which
yeah,
I understand,
that was what they were. Yeah. So
But
it was-
if they're not doing that now,
yeah.
because it doesn't seem like that would be successful.
So
We're really interested to see if it'll work up at where we're at with the temperatures we have.
yeah,
And
it does
the
have.
humidity.
It has a heater in it, and it does. So from when I did when I talked to him previously, did demo and everything, it was using 1550 nanometer for the laser, and it basically has a camera, and it has a big view, and it watches for the blinky little dot, and it just
So
reads
it's
that out of
self-aiming.
it, self-aiming, and it's self-lining and all that stuff.
But it's hilarious because that's optical.
But it's a super
That's just
small
standard single
little,
mode frequency.
little
Anyway,
radio.
it's like
and it's got
do not
it's
stare
got
into
the
laser
engine,
with remaining
the-
good eye.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm very
motors in
wary.
it, servos.
Well,
and all that
once that
stuff.
pixel on the camera goes out, it just moves a little.
Yeah.
Supposedly, when I talked to them, they actually had some sort of intelligence that
They do.
if
Yeah.
something gets in the way, it
Yeah.
turns itself off.
I'm sure they've got legal power.
They so when we talked with them previously, we asked about when the sun's coming up and does it get blinded by all the IR because it's basically reading
It's-
infrared. So it's they had that solved, and they were testing these in Malaysia for rain and fog and everything. So they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So worth checking out.
That'd be cool to see them.
and then another one was Piquad, I think it was, or Opiquad.
okay.
Opiquad is what it was. They have infinite sign with the P as part of it. It just looks weird, but yeah.
Pick
what
a
they
better
do?
name.
We
Something
don't
you can
know.
say.
Yeah, I think they were a BOS, like a billing platform.
Yeah.
So, what was
Still
the
on it.
qualifications for emerging tech?
Don't
I mean-
know.
Okay. You weren't involved in that.
I didn't,
I think it was just volunteering, and then you got picked. They picked the
well, I think
top
I think
best pitches.
I think some people they were definitely trimmed down, but I don't remember who trimmed it down.
Because I mean,
So-
whenever I'm just going to use this as an example. Whenever you say RF propagation, emerging tech, we're doing it. We've been doing it for the past 15 plus, actually more than that, 20, 30 years. Is an emerging.
Well, it's a new company. So,
But so is it
yeah.
just it's a new company? I mean
Yeah.
that's fine if that's what it is. I was just trying to figure out what their criteria was for that, and I guess like you just said, new
Self-identify,
company.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I identify as emerging.
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
you
building
go.
new stuff all the time, but I
Yeah.
don't know that I need to go. Let's
Yeah.
see. Maybe next year.
Well, I mean, because I remember seeing the emails, and I'm like, well, I'm not really an emerging tech, because what we have been doing is what we've been doing for the past 15 years.
Same old, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
You got a PoE pack for the for Tirana. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody else got that. That's emerging tech.
Do not take it on a
And
plane.
there's a lot of innovation
Yeah.
across the board, which I enjoy seeing that.
So Gaia is also here with their OSS, BSS, and their AI.
I saw their presentation.
and
part of it.
they had an AI
workflow builder.
workflow.
basically.
Yeah, it was. They have a workflow builder, so it's a like flow chart, WYSIWYG, drag and drop, and you can take inputs and outputs and drag between these blocks. And they had one that was AI, and so you can feed in ticket information or have it go and pull information and aggregate stuff from their system, and so it was pretty cool. But their system is kind of like he was explaining. It was more like a blank slate when you buy it,
It's a toolkit.
and you got to know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's good for the
It's like Oracle.
it's like well, it's kind of like part of Sonar's original draw was you can do a lot of the stuff yourself using API. It was you can do it all yourself. And so their system I think also fits that kind of category. It's like if you want to really have control and you want to like twist all the knobs and do everything,
You can.
then you can. But they will also set it up for you too.
Right.
Yeah.
Do the default stuff or talk.
I think
to
that I think that's table stakes going forward
Yeah.
because you're going to need to be able to integrate with other people's AI platforms,
Yeah.
as well as the value they provide. I mean, that's we're definitely seeing the use case for that. You need people for whom you do it, and then other people,
Yeah.
particularly the larger companies where they have their in-house devs or maybe good consultants, and they start to build more of that glue themselves. I mean, we don't want anybody to be a unequal citizen and not have access to the data that they need.
Yeah.
So interoperability is going to be key.
One thing I found interesting at the show was just that's kind of evolved over time is which billing platform you just hear mentioned more. Not necessarily in any light, good,
A lot of
bad,
people
or
switching.
whatever.
A lot of people switching.
But
Yeah.
the most
Yeah,
the
switching
most
everywhere.
popular one I heard, like I just heard the word Sonar more than any other billing platform, which is I think this might be the first show where that's the name that I've heard the most.
Is it Sonar switching away?
I didn't really calculate that in my head. I just
That's
heard
what I. That's what I.
Yeah,
but
because
the
I didn't
second,
hear a lot
the
of
second
that.
one I heard
Yeah.
was Gaia.
Gaia,
The
definitely
number
strong.
two.
Yeah.
And
Guys,
Strong emerging
Well,
tech. for
Just
sure.
just so you guys do know, I am writing an article on billing platforms with IPv6 support and how much IPv6
Cool.
support they have. Hopefully, in like a week or two, they're gonna that's gonna come out. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna give it to you, and Aaron and WISP is gonna be picking it up. But for the most part, most of them actually have some support for V6. The platform supports it. There's one that's been telling me that IPv6 has been coming for in 6 months for at least the past 6 years. So and they
Router OS 7.
yeah.
do you think that's currently driving people's choices, or do you think it should be driving
It
people's
should be
choices?
driving.
I
their
think it should be.
choices.
But
I-
not necessarily.
This is the first show in which I've heard multiple ISPs tell me they're actually doing dual stack now.
Mhm.
And we noticed because we've been dual stack for 6, 7,
Yeah,
a long
same
time.
Here, same here, yeah.
But now we have our new data plane out with the 100 gig box, and we don't yet have IPv6 enabled on that box. We just have to finish testing on it, so it'll be super soon. But we got to oh, hold on, there's actually demand. We've always had it been driven by demand, so I'm delighted to hear that the billing companies are finally catching up because that was a big obstacle.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the issue. We get
If your
customers all the time.
DHCP server doesn't really support it well,
Yeah.
if you can't tie it back to billing and usage, all of the data
Right.
platforms,
Right.
we can support it all day long. But if your billing system doesn't support it, and your routers don't support it,
Mhm.
and your your customer routers and your distribution routers or your BNG, then it didn't do us any good to have it as a feature.
Yeah.
I'm excited because
Yeah.
I've been dual stack for like 10, 20
Yeah,
years,
yeah,
12
yeah.
years, I
Yeah.
think. So
Well, that's what recently happened was we actually had a rash of customers call us up and say, hey, I want to rebuild my core. Most of them are going from 10 gig to 100 gig. Some are going to 25 gig. And they're like, can we run IPv6? I'm like, can you? What billing system you use? And they're like, well, what does that have to do with it? And all of a sudden you go into this whole explaining how it all works. And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, go ask your billing platform. And they go, well, we asked them and they really couldn't give us an answer. And I'm like, that's not good. I mean, so for one, the articles for the starter was for our my engineers' usage so that we can know what to tell the customers. However, now that we're going to actually publish an article, I'm hoping it will
Force them to
I'm
implement
hoping
it.
it'll.
Just be
I
aware.
hate to use this word, but I would hoping it's going to shame these guys
Yeah.
into, hey, we
Yeah.
actually need to finish our IPv6 stack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
As far as ISPs, I've implemented IPv6 on at least 3 networks this year. So in various levels of
and it
support.
does solve real business problems and real customer problems.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, very much so.
There have been multiple very specific use cases that going to V6 versus V4 has had a substantial performance improvement
that too.
over the public internet, like tunneling and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
just one of those oddball things that we do see.
Just make certain that your DNS servers are
Dual-
working.
dual capable.
Are dual capable, and that you configure the tool, the IPv6.
Yeah, I
records
have DNS servers, but I don't know what IPv6 address is on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited that Router OS 720 finally fixed RFC 5549. And so now you can truly do a single stack IPv6 underlay and do V4 as an overlay service with VXLAN, EVPN, or a number of different
So you
technologies.
did an article on that?
OracleNet?
Are you doing an article on that?
When I have
out
deployed it,
there.
I will. But I've seriously, I've had
It's like-
tickets open for years on for them to fix it, and they have finally fixed it. So I'm really excited.
That's one of the things I miss about Mum is like all
Yeah.
the innovative ideas that people came up with. And
That's actually, I
and
met
it's about-
Dennis at Mum Miami, and we talked about IPv6
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah,
That
a lot
was,
of us.
what,
I met through Mum,
2016?
you know, so
It was a long time
ago.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time
Feels
ago.
like a long time ago.
that was
Yeah.
like 2010.
Well, I mean,
right?
in 720, the current RC, we actually have an apps store button
what?
in Winbox.
Oh
Like
Haven't
you
seen
can
that
click
yet.
it and then you can go.
Oh, for virtualization.
Yeah, for
Not
virtualization, for
like
containers.
Router OS apps,
Yeah,
for
But
containers.
for containers, I mean,
Yeah.
but you can go, here's Zabbix install, and it.
I assume you can put your own sources in there too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it
You've
is
always been able
currently.
to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you
But
click
now
your
they
scene,
literally
grab your
have, I don't know, they have like 150 devices, pie holes and all these things that you can just click and
Bare
install.
metal, low level.
The
For
light
packet
version.
processing.
You
The
can
light
have-
version.
yeah,
Okay,
all the
okay,
crap.
okay. I'll build it.
Yeah. Just something simple.
Promise the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a fun. All right, actually, so who went to the keynote
Which one?
on Master Monday?
I did not.
I was not
I didn't-
here because I flew through the night.
Okay.
I was here.
went
but I
Tuesday,
think I was
but
doing
Okay.
a session or something.
What did you? All right, so just for everyone's knowledge, so the keynote, the concept was open floor format. So there was lots of interaction between the speakers and the tables.
Cool.
And it was on Master Monday, so which is traditionally and was mostly, from what I saw, leadership roles in various companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question, the topic and concept was, let's look at other industries that have been run over by technology. Kodak invented the digital camera, and then buried it. They didn't actually bury it. They didn't see it
Failed
as
to.
they didn't see it as competitive with the film, and so then they just let it sit, and then they
Lost that race.
Lost that race.
Yeah.
Uber drivers
Taxis
have
are over, yeah.
run over the taxis guys.
And now Waymo.
All these different things, and so then the questions were, one of them was, what's the new emerging technology that you see coming out? And my joke was IPv6.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's an
Pitch that for next
emerging
year.
for 25 years.
That's what you can pitch for the next year.
Yeah,
guys.
there you
I
go.
remember all those examples. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't everything kind of blurs together after a
Yeah.
few days in Vegas?
Yeah.
Was that the one that was all about AI's coming? If you don't use AI,
Well, there's the
You're
guy
gonna
who
lose.
stood
That
up
was
and
last
who stood up and was like, AI's gonna kill us all.
right?
This is first comment. This is the first guy to say one day. It's like, oh my god.
That was one of the best moments.
That was
Yeah,
funny.
it's
Everyone
kill us
made
all.
jokes about that for the rest of the
Like, where are we gonna be in 10 years? He's like, gone.
Was it this guy in
We're
the
gonna be
back?
gone.
Yeah, he was.
I actually enjoyed the keynote from the head of Calix. It's obviously something he's going to be giving to, it's a presentation he's given before and will
Yeah.
give again, but it's still relevant. He basically was saying, we can't necessarily prove the ROI yet, but your competitors are going. It's the arms race. Your competitors will be doing AI, so you'd better get it figured out.
Okay.
And I don't think he's wrong about that.
Yeah, I feel like, and I feel like this is one of the first times where I've seen some really good business use cases for AI in various.
It's taken some time to get there.
Yeah, it has taken.
Well, taking time.
Well, yeah,
a
like
lot of,
the
somebody
example-
a lot of money.
Yeah.
The example that I gave earlier about how using AI to do the call summaries. It's a small thing. We did it quite a while ago. That saves real money, calculatable. You can calculate how much money that saves over time.
And it's nice to see, you as an early adopter able to build that in house. Not everyone's going to be able to do that. And for
Right,
somebody
so
to
see-
build a
see
more
the
complicated, more complicated is the wrong word.
polished
And
for
more,
sure.
well, I mean something that integrates
mainstream.
with more generic systems
Mhm.
that's not custom built. There's going to be space for that. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't
Zapier
spend a lot of time
AI.
with them. Do they integrate with more than just Ethereal?
I don't know the answer
who
to
are you
that.
asking?
QC.
QC.
Yeah. Oh, they had 3CX
Okay.
and they had VoIP MS, or
That's
two
what
that
you
I saw right off.
Mhm.
Yeah, right off the bat. And they
3PX
look at
maybe.
files at rest as well. So,
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
they were willing to integrate into other stuff. They said
I can't imagine it's that hard.
as long as they
doing
have
it.
an API and
Yeah.
has the endpoints that are appropriate for it, they can do it.
File storage.
Well, that is a really great AI use. Just the fact that the LLMs are so good at just understanding what people say, even if they,
They're good at summarizing.
If their
Yes.
ability
Yeah.
to think
That's
is
where the
still
power's at.
could use some polishing,
You know?
Yeah.
their ability to say this person said this is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Remixing
so-
versus creating.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
a really great way to use
Yep.
it today as a way to save money and get insights and stuff.
Yeah.
We do that with all our customer interactions. We have they're automatically digested and shared with the appropriate parts of the company.
Mhm.
So yeah, really helpful.
But I did think that the session about the keynote about the AI is coming and
you're either going to use it or you're going to go under. So I definitely found that super interesting. AI in general is a super interesting topic. Everyone's talking about it. I do kind of keep in the back of my head that I don't know that the people coming out saying this is what the future is going to be don't necessarily know any better at
It's a
predicting the
bubble.
future.
It's,
Like,
yeah.
we
just know it's going to be
yeah,
disruptive.
we all want to know what's it going to do, what's going to happen, and it's such a crazy I don't think anyone actually knows. I don't think any one of these really smart people
Well, his
is able to
advice
actually
was
predict the future.
the Mr. Michael from Calix. His advice was think about it on longer time frames, the 5 to 10 years. Kind of, he didn't say like don't get caught up in the latest new shiny, but that is good advice, right? Take some time to think about how you actually want to use it, and by the time you get there, in some ways, the ones who really were all selling air, hopefully will be a little more filtered out in the marketplace.
And security is paramount on that thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't upload your company information to somebody else's
to
LLM.
Chat GPT or
Yes.
something. And I mean,
Have
we
a corporate policy.
Right. We actually built a corporate policy, and then we actually built our own little AI cluster just to handle. People. Sometimes we get a little email heavy, and hey, we want to make it a little more professional, look a little nicer, and so we just feed it into our AI, and usually it does a good job. But definitely read it beforehand. And it's just like, whenever you're using a pre-built Microtech filter list, you better know what every line actually does, because it will break stuff otherwise.
Yeah.
So,
AI going everywhere. And I think the last question in the long discussion for the Master Monday keynote was, where do you see the internet being in 10 years? Like what does that look like? Because it's changed so much in the last 10 years, which in some ways
But
it
has it
hasn't.
really though?
Yeah,
It's still about delivering bits.
It's
Yeah,
more,
it's
it's
still
more
low
dead.
latency bits.
Well,
Well,
it's to who and to where. is
how
changing.
how we use it is different.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
whenever
for
the internet first came out, I mean, I would sit there and we didn't have YouTube. We had Wikipedia or something like that, and you would look up information and stuff like that. Now
It's
it's all
Gemini
it's
or
and it's
ChatGPT.
all right on your phone, and you can use ChatGPT, you can use AI, and just say, hey, actually, I used it this week because I was trying to find a name of a movie,
Yeah.
and you just type a quick summary, and it figures it out, and it's better than Google, it's better than those types of things. So again, it's mostly how we're using it, not necessarily has it
AI
changed.
assistants. I think that was somebody at my table was like an AI personal AI assistant is that can order from Amazon for you is going to be like really big
Right.
thing.
Yeah, so I actually have one of my reps that they personally pay for a AI assistant in their email, and it just hooks into Outlook, and every email they get, it'll either say, hey, this is spam, or it'll actually write a reply.
For
But it
review,
doesn't send.
For review, yeah.
Yes. So this it amazes me. I know exactly the ones that it writes that he sends to me, because you can tell that it's he
Well,
took
the
way
better
too much
ones will
time on it.
Train them on your existing style of communication.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's
I mean,
kind of what Google's been doing for a while.
yeah, I do know a lot of people that are using that type of tool, and then going into the AI and saying, hey, tell such and such I'm gonna be home at this time, and it knows who it is, it knows what the number it is, it knows just send a text or send a messenger, it knows all that to do to send that information.
When I think about what is the internet going to look like in a decade, I'm thinking kind of like infrastructure and what is the traffic patterns and stuff going to look like. Already more than half, from what I understand, more than half of the traffic is not human generated. It's right, and I think you probably, and this is not educated, it's my gut guess is it's probably going to be like 80-90% is going to be machine generated, not human generated.
That's a huge problem right now.
But I don't think last mile is going to get that affected, right?
No.
What we need in our homes is from the internet is to enough to see. So images, audio. We got to
Your
AR, VR
We need the ads
on
our
we got
on
to
the
send.
screen.
We got to send video. We got to send audio. And
Yeah.
but I think a lot where you're going to see the huge increases in traffic is going to be before the last mile. Between the data centers,
Yeah.
between I think
Correct.
all of that kind of core internet infrastructure is going to become much more advanced.
And really
to
heavy.
send that data
Is that
for the
gonna-
machines.
Is that going to be the internet quote, or is that all going to be private line type stuff?
I guess I don't know where you would. Who knows?
They're
in 10
where do you
years-
draw the line?
in 10 years,
Yeah,
you draw the
yeah.
line.
PNIs that they have between each other, cross connects, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
data centers, and so
And
it's,
that's what IP architects is doing. Like
Derek's
posting
been working on that and posting publicly.
really
about
cool. Yeah, some like 800 gig interconnects or whatever, 400 or 800.
high speed.
Yeah,
for sure.
super.
But I think you're probably going to be uploading a lot more because I think you're going to have all your like cameras around your house and stuff. In fact, so I just I use Google and they just introduced a new like AI upgrade for Google Home, and now it's giving me since I've been in Vegas, it gives me a summary, an AI generated summary every day of what went on in my house, right? Where it's telling me like oh, you know, in the morning, someone pulled up in a blue car, got out with I had a housekeeper come over, came with a backpack vacuum, and
is that detailed?
throughout the
Yeah.
afternoon, performed various cleaning activities throughout the house. Later in the day, 2 geese walked by the
I
front porch.
could just imagine.
I saw a
just-
squirrel.
my mind's going straight to the gutter on that one because I could just imagine this guy came over and you see that. Okay.
But that sort of thing, like I think
Yeah.
we're going to be data collection. I think we'll be sending a lot more data
So are
from everywhere.
You're
to
doing
central
that through
points.
Google?
Yeah, it's just automatic. Yeah,
Okay.
Google Home.
So that was one guy is like one of the keynote guys was saying that he really wanted to see an offering of us being MSPs to manage the AI infrastructure inside of somebody's home. So you didn't have to upload all your stuff to Google or
Right.
Meta or whatever.
Right, just much. This edge
And he
compute
called it
kind of
he
thing.
called it the AI furnace in everyone's home.
Right, it's a
Okay.
space heater.
Yeah,
I
that's
yeah.
it.
I already have
would
my own
really
server
love-
rack,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like
you have
my-
one central thing that takes care of everyone in the house. So
Being kind of a sci-fi fan, I kind of dream about there's going to be on-prem AI that is able to kind of develop its own little personality that you can get to know. That will be like a
So-
little thing that lives in your house that knows all of
Who
your
was-
stuff.
who was
So
the
like the
character
house
with
in
Tony
Eureka
Stark,
that
the
talks.
Yeah.
AI? I can't think of who that was. Yeah.
Jarvis.
Yeah, Jarvis, like Jarvis.
But
you know.
Eureka had a house that had an AI personality
Mhm.
too
Yeah.
in it. That, you know,
Yeah.
they get trapped in it.
what was the
Yeah, yeah,
Disney
the
movie House
steals you in.
where the house AI goes rogue and tries to become a mom?
I'm pretty sure that's the
Because
theme
I
of
missed that one.
99%
Yeah,
of
a
the
lot of-
sci-fi
yeah.
movies out there.
It's a little young. For
But
me.
I Robot,
Dystopian.
that was
Dystopian
literally
futures.
the theme of it.
But I do, to Aaron's point, the more determinism you have over that and control you have over that, and the less you can be, given to the man in the sky, the better.
Do you think that that's a service that people would want to pay for? Is I'll drop an AI cluster or something
Well,
in your house?
obviously
or,
the cost will have to come down in
yeah.
order for you to be able to afford it, right? Because right now, no one's paying for open ChatGPT.
The
They
models
have
are going to get more
lot of
efficient,
users, but
and
the
the
revenue is-
GPU stuff is going to get better.
Yeah.
SoCs
already
are
what
gonna
you
get
can do
better.
just on
It's
this with an 8 gig.
hardware that's made
Model.
to do these models also.
right.
Like,
yeah,
and
and
hardware
NVIDIA has their
would be a
new
thing, so-
AI
And,
chip.
hence
someone
why
will
hence
disrupt
why they say
NVIDIA.
8 to 10
Yeah.
years or 5 to 10 years
Yeah.
away.
Right now, the technology is still so young and emerging and cutting edge and evolving so fast that I think it's probably going to stay cloud based with central like providers like Google and ChatGPT and stuff like that for a while until it's old tech. Once it's old tech, I think, and it's not evolving as quickly, then I think you're going to start having the stuff in your home, possibly.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
it's really hard to know
you
how
were
it's
talking
going to go.
about the company that's monitoring the calls and outputting that. That doesn't require a whole lot of AI. And yes, like an A100 or A200 is much faster, but you don't actually have to use that. I'm using 3060s, a pair of 3060s and an i7 server, and it as far as like comparing it to ChatGPT, it's just as fast.
Tokens
So,
per second.
Yeah.
So the context window will be the
Yeah.
big differentiator.
But I mean, the whole ideal, like my next thought is, how can I use my GrandStream phone system to basically do the same thing and upload the files and get those summaries or model those words, and that's something I'm probably go home and try.
What was that VoIP monitoring software that one time that would output a second stream for the VoIP that you're listening to, besides the conversation for like monitoring for call centers?
Yeah, there
You
it
can
is.
just feed that right into.
Yeah.
and
Well,
model.
most VoIP is unencrypted anyway, so
Yeah.
as long as you can listen to the packets, or you can get a
I-
port going to your
3CX, it's a MP3 file that
Yeah.
you can just magically.
yeah. Well,
FTP
that's what
download.
GrandStream does. They just save it to an MP3. But
So what you're
he's
saying is I
is-
should never make a phone call again.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean,
you.
I mean,
the justification to get rid of VoIP.
I mean, seriously, open up Wireshark and make a
Yeah.
VoIP phone call, and you can
One of
easily decrypt the entire call.
One of the vendors that we were talking with, they were like, well, in your IVR, you transfer the call to us, and we pick it up in Twillo, and then we bring it back to you. I was like, well, that's eating up, my ACX lines. I don't want to do it like that. Can we do it this other way and have, pull the, duplicate the stream as it's going through? And
Adds
do it that
latency,
way.
adds
Monitor
that.
port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind
Well,
of
you-
more,
Monitor port and then net the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
more directly to answer that question though, I think that at least right now and in the like short term, there probably is definitely a market for installing and configuring smart home stuff for people. But as far as like having that actually be consistently
AI.
Your brand
managed,
yet? It's gonna take a little
consistently
bit.
managed by the MSP, I don't really see that being practical. It seems like, but definitely like providing a help desk service and actual physical installation, and even just conceptual, like this is how you want to do it. This is how you want to set your lights up. This is where you want your smart speakers. This is how you want to integrate your brands. This is the ecosystem you want to be in. That sort of stuff. I think it's probably definitely a market for that.
Geek Squad.
When
Look how that went.
yeah. Well, whenever I look at this as an ISP, like VoIP services, we'll just start there. VoIP services is actually fairly profitable, but you have to have a decent sized customer base to make up the profit and to have the profit coming in. It's you don't make a lot of money per customer, but once you have a few thousand customers on it, all of a sudden you're actually making pretty decent money. Another service that I always recommend to my customers is backup services. I seen a couple days ago, Amazon had 24 terabyte drives for $259. Okay, very, very inexpensive. You bundle that with a backup software, toss a NAS in. Now all of a sudden you have 100 terabytes of backup, and now you can sell that relatively inexpensively. It's all on net, nice and fast. The question is, do you have enough people that want backups?
Right, and how many people have on-site data anymore anyway? How much of it?
Well,
goes-
You'd be
that.
surprised. You'd be surprised.
Actually, so I've been getting a little bit more and more in photography, and the number of people on Facebook who I see talking about their backup solutions a ton of the time. What's the
Cloud gets
the
expensive
Synology?
very quickly.
Yes, yes, it
Cloud
does.
gets
Yeah,
expensive.
raw-
That's why
I
I
see
have a
raw
local
footage.
cluster.
Yeah, it's cheap if you're doing 2 terabytes or
Yes.
something like that. But once
Even
you start,
10,
once you
but-
get to 10 or so, all of a sudden it goes through the roof.
Past the,
I guess when I think about data I want to back up, I'm thinking like for just my
Yeah.
perspective, my default
the
perspective
cloud
is like,
services are pretty
Google
is
useful.
like
Yeah.
documents,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I need to store receipts and
It's media.
PDFs
It's content
and-
creators who need it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other, you have photos and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm just saying, I'm more thinking along like business lines. Hey, you can back up entire servers, databases, all that kind of good stuff. And you can back that up all locally to your servers.
Right. I guess we do back all of our on-site servers out to like Amazon or something.
And
That's
actually,
an ISP
you can
got
do that too. Like in the software we use, we can put an S3 destination in, but then you're not using data at local area, but now you're using your bandwidth.
Yeah.
So it depends if you're buying 100 gig bandwidth, then bandwidth cost is nothing anymore. You don't really care about it.
Yeah, so we're a G Suite company, and so I have 320 terabytes of space, and so our Proxmox cluster, I have it set to back up locally to the ZFS volume there, and then I run rclone and push it up, rsync it to G Suite, and so I have an offsite Proxmox backup server, and I have the local last night's copy at rest on there, and also in Google, and then Google is accumulating
All your history.
all of it, and I go and clear it out occasionally. But yeah, it's.
But I'm just saying,
that's a
I mean,
great.
that's
backup
it's a very inexpensive way to add another service that, again, it's not going to make you a whole bunch of money, but
Yeah.
if you start getting, couple hundred people doing it, all of a sudden it
Sure.
can make a decent amount of money.
Yeah, and if you already need your own backup system anyway.
There you go. Yeah, that's where our backup
you can
system was
turn a
came from.
costs into a profit center.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
yeah, there's plenty of different options of secondary things that we can throw at customers to
Yeah.
make
Oh, yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So and for the show, what do you guys think? So we got going to Atlanta. What are like kind of some of the things looking forward that we're going to be seeing? Like Ubiquities didn't really have any big announcements. They aren't. Is
They
there
have a
any
show
other things that we're-
in Florida and Miami coming up that
Oh.
they're going to announce everything at.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
So-
Do
coming
their own
up.
show.
Yeah, they have their own show, UI form or whatever it is. So.
Yeah, they're one like that I used to know really well, and now it's like I have no idea what's going to come out of. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not
know
there.
if they.
I was
I
bummed
don't
out
know
Alta
if they
Labs
really
wasn't
love our
there.
industry, or they've forgotten about our industry, or if they're
They are after
neutral,
that small
or if they're
business.
going to have some
SMB
big thing that comes out and challenges everybody.
Dude,
Managed
Or,
service
MSP,
providers.
like, so I went to their show in Chicago,
Mhm.
MSP, 100%.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
And that's where they're throwing a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because like
Enterprise
they're
has been making them more money than WISP for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then their NVR offerings, and then they got the access stuff out now too, and
yeah.
so
So yeah.
it's all over.
I actually just had somebody who's been like using Ubiquity and Unify for a few years, and I introduced them to the Wi-Fi Design Center, and it's been a couple of years since I've used it.
It's
and
gotten a lot better?
It's
Yeah.
gotten better.
It's gotten
yeah.
better.
I have to
It
give
is.
Ubiquity props for their UI design. And people complain about it when they change things, but they at least try.
Yeah.
They usually try.
And the number of free tools that they have,
It's
like
impressive.
that design center is probably something somebody could justify paying $50 a year for easily. Licensing, but it's all free.
Sometimes people kind of make fun of the fact that oh, it's just pretty, right? You don't need it to be pretty. It kind of adds value because humans have to use the technology,
Mhm.
right? Operators are humans. Having something be intuitive, easy to use, easy to look at, it
Hard to
is
overvalue
more
that.
important than we sometimes give it credit for.
The number of people who I've been able to train on Ubiquity stuff
Mhm.
because it's not an overwhelming wall of information versus like the training time that it takes to get somebody.
Microtech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Microtech.
I mean,
mic-
Winbox
Or the
is
old
powerful,
Cambium
but you don't
stuff.
want to start there.
yeah, the old
right.
Cambium or like even like Metaswitch. Dear God, that user interface, like I loved it. And to be fair, that interface wasn't really ever designed
It's
for
for
CSRs.
engineers, yeah.
It's for
Yeah, yeah,
engineers, but it takes
Yeah.
you a while to even get an engineer up and running on that.
Well, seriously, I mean, Pre-Seam is still an app for engineers, and we want to change that because that's, as you said, pretty is actually useful. It's not just
Yeah, as long as you're not
pretty fake.
losing actual
Correct.
function, but having that function laid out in a way that we can use easier and more intuitively is
You want it to still be
is more
useful.
value than
Yeah.
it sometimes gets credit for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So
Looking kind of back to your forward-looking question, Dennis and I did a session together. I was wondering if any of the rest of you caught any other sessions that maybe were different, because often there's a lot of overlap from one show to the next. Repeat sessions, right? Maybe different people are doing them. I did a repeat from last year. I was asked to do it, so I'm happy to do that. But in terms of how the agenda is going, are there things we'd like to see in the next show that we haven't seen yet?
That actually ties into something I was gonna want to mention, was kind of why we bring people to the show
Oh,
and
yeah.
what we get out of it. So I went to a session that one of my staff was running, and afterwards she asked me, like, did you learn anything during the session? And I realized afterwards that my answer sounded arrogant, but it wasn't meant to be. I said, that's kind of a high bar, right? And it wasn't meant to be like, oh, I know everything. But after 15, 20 years coming to the show,
hard to
like,
be surprised.
It's
Yeah.
hard to be, it's hard to be surprised. And I did a lot of the CEO sessions and stuff. And I think one thing I'd like to see is, as a CEO, is things that are more about philosophy and perspective. And I would love to see like a session with like other CEOs that are respected, talking about what their job looks like. Because I don't know how many other people running companies, if it's your first time running a company, and it's the first time I've ever ran a company this big, I don't know if I'm doing it right.
And there wasn't a
Sometimes
CEO
I wonder-
roundtable this year, because sometimes there is. There was not one this
Not
year.
that I'm aware of
Okay.
now. But
I'm not sure that
I
would
wonder, like,
fit.
am I doing it right? Am I working hard?
Yeah.
Am I working too hard? Or,
And if you're feeling that way, surely other CEOs are feeling that way, and
so
just other
something that
people.
kind of shows like some vulnerability of, oh, this is the things I wonder about. These are, and I think that would be helpful for some of the people that are running, medium-sized or larger companies that have been here for a long time, that aren't going to get new how-to information. But
Because
keep
it's
the
easier
how-to
for engineers
sessions.
to have that experience here
Yeah.
at a show like this.
So
Yeah.
we bring 3 different kind of groups of people with us. So I bring myself as the CEO and the rest of our leadership team. Our leadership team, they're a lot of times involved both in learning and teaching. So they're helping with sessions, and they're also learning from sessions, and they're doing a lot of like networking with people. Me, I mostly what I get out of the show is I have like meetings with people, right? This is my place to have face to face. It's a centralized place. I can go meet with the tower company and work on negotiating the next tower deal. I can meet with the finance people and talk about the next way that we're going and what we need to do and stuff like that, and eat lots of good food. And then we bring the hourly employees. For the hourly employees, it's all about learning, right? It's all about learning and learning about the new stuff, learning about the new vendors, learning about new techniques. And so I forgot where I was going with that. But
You made a great pitch for
Yeah.
what the experiences you can have at WISP.
Right.
Yeah. I feel so. I'm a little bit like Aaron. Like I live, breathe, sleep this industry, and so very frequently in the past I've felt like, oh, okay, I'm not really. I felt a little bit better. Like the keynote on Monday was really good, and a couple of the other sessions that I went to actually felt better attended. People were more interactive. I felt like this was a better as far as sessions go. That said, I think that there's always going to be a place for like the repeat stuff, like grounding, tower safety. Those 2, we need that. It should be it's mandatory that we have it, and maybe it should be mandatory.
Well, you're always going to
everyone
have the
needs to go
new
to.
WISPs and the small WISPs and the new attendees, and this is a great place for people
There's
to
stuff
learn.
that's evergreen.
Yeah.
And
Go
I was
ahead.
going to say, I just encourage everyone who's listening. The agenda committee is working on the next show and a year out. So any ideas that you have, you really should submit them. It's really, this is driven, bottom up. That's what I love about this show. It's not a top down. I love that coming as an attendee and as a vendor, because we go to other shows and they're not as well aligned with what the people are coming here to see as
Well,
WISPA is.
and
And that's because we get good advice, and we all participate in that process, I hope.
Yeah,
Just
there's a
kind of-
Survey Monkey link that goes out.
Multiple times,
Yeah.
generally. There's
Yeah.
one right after the show, but then there's also ones that come out as the agenda
Yeah,
committee is working on it.
Yeah, when they're asking. So if you're not on the WISPA mailing list,
Get on it.
get on it.
Yeah.
And even if you don't come to WISPA, if you want a topic,
If you want people to be aware of what's going on in the industry, yeah, that's a good point. Even
Yeah.
if you aren't going.
I think it makes a lot of sense for them to pay more attention to the new people and the young people, because the counterpoint to the ideas of make things that could be more entertaining for me and you, they probably don't need to do anything better for me and you, because if we've been coming for 15 years, we're probably going to keep coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're obviously
yeah.
getting something out of it, even if it's harder to articulate.
Yeah.
Or it's just at a higher level in kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Like
It's still
you said,
real.
you're coming here for meetings. I've been coming to the show because one, I have a group of friends that I like to see. I like to talk.
Oh, yeah.
I like to hang out, and that is half the whole point of coming.
Sometimes more than
but
half, yeah.
I definitely think that they've gotten away from some of the more technical topics that we used to have.
Yeah.
And I think that there is I don't know, the word's not generation, but there are people that are new in the industry that they're not getting those technical topics that we used to be very, very good at.
I think if there are fewer, then it is by a small amount though, because there still was a technical track. Maybe there weren't 2 technical tracks, because sometimes there was a beginner and an advanced.
Yeah.
So it might be fewer overall, but if you add more tracks, there's always the question of like, is that too many? Nathan really tries to
saying
right size
adding
it.
tracks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the content is more high level
Yeah.
now. It seems like in the past 4 or 5 years, all the contents went high level, not
But could that be a reflection of the maturity of the industry? If the industry
It
is
could
really
be.
asking
It
for
could
that,
be.
yeah. So
it could be. But I still say that there are still plenty of aspiring network guys that are at the show.
Yeah.
And basic level stuff should probably be at least offered at some point in time.
I actually saw a number of sessions that were really targeted toward, starter WISP and beginner ISP.
Okay, maybe-
So it could just be.
Maybe that their AI titles are.
Right. You had to go read the descriptions. See, I'm not fond about that.
Yes,
There's definitely a little more of a kind of a homogenizing hand when you start doing that kind of thing. But in terms of the basics, I did a tech session. We did a tech session together, and it actually ended up being a pretty good conversation, even if it wasn't 100% their original intent. Actually, we ended up pretty well.
I still wish we had the original intent though.
Right. The
Perhaps,
things that I went to though, and I like the idea that they're doing the emerging tech thing. I wish I'd known it was kind of like a game, or I would have went to some of those.
Yeah.
But
Maybe next year it'll be a little better attended, I
the,
hope.
the sessions I did go to when I wasn't in other meetings and stuff, it did not feel regurgitated. It did
That's
not
good.
feel. I mean, these are all positive, negative things,
Yeah.
but it did not. It did not seem redundant or just same old, same old. So it did seem like they were getting the information out that was important that people needed without being super redundant. Over the years, there have been times where it felt like it's just the same thing again.
If I
And
could
it
put a
didn't-
plug in, because I would say half of that, like that freshness, is the agenda committee being careful to not always have the same people do the same tracks.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
that means quality might, if it's a really good presenter on a particular topic, then maybe the quality will vary a little bit. But the other side is that it's still very volunteer driven, and if people don't volunteer, then it's not even so much about the quality will suffer; it's that the diversity will suffer, and with less diversity comes less opportunity for good quality. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Suggest topics, but also be willing. And I know this is not easy for everybody to do, to get over the line to think, heck, I could speak in public and not die. Like, it's one of people's biggest fears.
Right.
And you find out, some people will find out, no, this is something that you actually can do. And you have, experiences, life experiences, technological experiences that bring a perspective to WISPA that people should
Right.
hear.
Well, and I know that I'm pretty bad because I could speak on things.
Yes, you're not a good example.
And I'm happy. I'm always.
I'm not
I'm
pointing
actu-
at you, Aaron.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
actually happy to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm very hesitant to actually tell the people that would need to know that I could do that, because I have so many commitments in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
We
that I'm
all,
not-
those of us who
I'm
volunteer,
happy
is
to
like,
help.
yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
I don't feel like
You don't wanna be the face of it.
jumping out there and being
Yeah.
like, hey, can I help? Can I help? Can I? Right.
well, and there are
But
definitely,
probably a
there's
lot of
this,
people
there's
like
this,
that.
a few, and I think the agenda committee also does a good job of making sure not to let any one person dominate. Some years I've done 3 or 4 sessions. I just did 2 this year.
Yeah.
I did not volunteer for more than 2. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, so that was about the sweet spot for me. Right.
Right.
So, but at the same time, it can be hard to find volunteers for some of this stuff, and that's not because I think that it isn't aligned with what people want to hear. It's that there's always a small percentage of people who are willing to put in the work. In this kind of an org, it relies on us being willing to help each other out.
Yeah, as being an MDU provider here, I'm kind of in a weird spot because everyone's doing single family.
If you always volunteer to talk about MDUs,
Well, I've volunteered to talk in the past, but have been put on stuff that's not MDU.
Yeah.
We have so few MDU providers. I should probably be speaking
Probably
about
should speak
MDUs
about
in front of
MDUs,
everyone,
yeah.
but instead they have Incoax, Ruckus, Wave, and
Yeah.
Positron. They're all vendors talking
Yeah.
about MDUs.
Well,
they don't have any
that's the
practical
thing. We-
experience actually selling. They sell to the people who sell to the MDUs.
Right.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
I'm
They don't know
speaking
what the
specifically
challenges
to
are.
ISPs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We want you
I
on-
come here to
like me.
hear
I
other
want you up
ISPs
there.
talk about what they
I
do.
don't want a
not
panel
the
full of
vendors.
vendors.
And I can go
Yeah.
talk with them.
That's
out
not the
on
only one that happened this season, too.
Yeah, I can go talk with them at the booth. I don't need
Yeah.
to hear them, or the vendor spotlight, which many of them had also.
But that's
So
but
it's
that's
just-
a like that's
Yeah,
a
vendor
legitimate pay to
spotlights-
play.
Yeah, the vendor spotlight to me is a
That's the clean way to do it.
Yeah, that's how you
Yeah.
get it so that the vendors can advertise their
Yeah.
product and
Yeah.
you're like, hey, this is cool.
Whereas like a panel that's all vendors. I mean, luckily on the panel that we did, I couldn't get any current operators to volunteer. I did manage to talk to people who knew something about the topic, but at least in the case of Dennis and me, we had operator experience, and so we said this is the experience we're going to bring to this,
Yeah.
not necessarily our vendor experience.
And I don't know if you were involved in the MDU sessions or session that I think it was on Monday,
Yeah.
but just as a feedback about the show, my son went to, he works for me now, which is
He always asks
I'm
great
super
questions, by
proud
the
of.
way. He's amazing.
But he went to the MDU session and couldn't say enough good things about it.
That's good.
He was
Oh,
raving about the
good.
MDU session. He's like, "We're doing MDUs all wrong."
And I will
we gotta
say,
do better.
I love it when the people who know more about the topic than I do, if say I'm presenting or moderating, I love it when they come, they sit up close, and I can pick on them and say, hey, I don't know the answer to that question, but I know that guy does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't even have to necessarily volunteer to speak. Just show up and participate in the events that you
Yeah.
know something about, and if they're doing a good job, they're engaging the audience.
Mhm.
Yeah, because collectively, you call it wisdom of the crowds, right?
Yeah.
I suspect collectively there's more smarts
Mhm.
on the downside of the table.
Yeah. So
I walked into one session talking to a good friend, sat in the front row because I always sit in the front row because I want to be able to
Yeah.
hear
See the
and
slides.
see the
Yeah.
slides and such. And I look up and one of our extremely very loyal customers, he's a great customer, he's on the panel. And I'm like, oh, hi. And they asked him a question and he's like, well, I really can't talk about that topic, but Dennis takes
good.
care of our network. He can. And I'm like, I
Thanks.
could not have planned
Yeah, you
that.
couldn't
I
have
mean,
planned that.
I'm like,
For sure.
I'll give what I can, you know,
Yeah.
but it was not, that was not by,
Yeah, when it was a plant.
it wasn't planned, but it happened. So,
Organic conversations. I think.
yes.
yeah,
yes.
definitely super ed. All right, well, what do we
Last call.
Yeah, last call. Any other topics that we wanted to cover before we burn this one to the ground?
This is my first time doing this, so I don't know what you're supposed to
We're
talk
used to having
about.
Mac, so thanks.
Yeah.
It's great. Great having you
Hopefully, I'm an acceptable Mac substitute.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're.
I don't have
Oh,
any
you did the
news I can
caffeinated
release
Mac
yet.
version.
But the caffeinated-
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I think we kind of covered all the.
Yeah.
We had a cool bucket truck, or bucket trailer. That was cool. I like
Train.
I
that.
didn't see that.
Yeah, the bucket. It was all the way in the corner.
You should have seen it this morning. They were raising it up. They had a little flag on it, and it kept on going up. I'm like, they're gonna
stop it.
Oh,
Stop
they did. They tapped the ceiling,
tapped the ceiling.
and I'm like, I hope nobody else seen that.
I guess when it comes to like a pitch for the show, like I can't really imagine not including Master Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Master
a good
Monday.
point.
If you're going to go to one day Master Mondays, well, you don't get the vendor. For
You
it,
just
but
don't get
Master
the
Mondays
same
would-
depth about if you're here to learn anything or engage.
The sessions
in
are longer, more detailed. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dislike sitting in one place for an hour and a half, but you can't have both. You can't.
I just
have,
make
you
everybody
can't
take a
have
break.
both a long. You can't,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't have both a nice, long, in-depth session and not sit in
And
the
not
same
sit.
place.
Well,
But-
hopefully next year, wherever we're at, wherever all the meeting rooms are, hopefully there's a bathroom right there.
Yes.
Right.
Not
Because
far
right
away.
now it's like a ways.
It's a long ways.
Yeah.
Maybe the speakers during Master Monday sessions could have you like stand up halfway through and like,
That's what I
walk
did.
around the room.
We,
running.
we just did.
We'll
we just
hand
did
out
it.
some adult
Something
diapers.
else
That'll be fine.
that I've made plenty of suggestions to WISPA over the years, but another suggestion that I've actually made this year again is they need to have all the speakers come into a room and they need to tell them to make love to the microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Eat it.
that
sure people can
yes,
hear you.
yes.
Yeah, I
Uh,
recorded several sessions, and there was multiple times where I was like,
Yes.
facing the microphone
yeah,
because
yeah.
otherwise I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
you're
Or get
wasting my
crazy
time.
feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it happens, and it just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else we can do or WISPA can do other than going and listening and literally stopping the session and saying, "Hey, you guys need to
mandatory mic training for
Yes.
all moderators
Yes.
and
And
speakers.
honestly, I hate to say it, but that's what is
Yeah,
needed.
that's what you need.
Well, because
It
you
is
have a bunch
needed.
of people that are volunteers that aren't
Right.
regular
Professionals,
public
right.
speakers,
Right.
and there's
I
so
think
many
that would
sessions
help,
going on
though.
at
It
once.
would.
It would
It
help.
Like
would
it would
help.
help
I'm
some.
not
Like
kidding,
there, there's plenty of us that I've been using mics for 20 years, and I'm a public speaker. And I wouldn't say extraordinary, but I like to talk, hear myself talk. So
I like to be amplified.
So I
Yeah.
have a solution that might be more practical for them, other than trying to get all the speakers in one room. Make a video.
Yeah.
Make a video for them.
Yeah, but they have to watch it.
yeah.
Hey, send it out. Send it. The agenda
There's a
committee can make
discount
sure that
code
gets
for
it out to
their-
everybody.
Yeah. You get your
Yeah.
discount code.
Save,
whenever it's-
save 10%.
Once you watch
Use
it.
WISPA 10,
There is a
you
good
know.
session because Nathan always does a mandatory session, a Zoom call for moderators,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's I think optional for speakers perhaps. And he would be,
He
I'm sure
didn't-
happy to add that point on.
I don't know if he did it this year.
He did.
He did.
He did, because
Okay.
usually
Because
two
I was just a
slots.
speaker, and I don't.
No,
remember
right,
seeing
it's for
it.
moderators.
Yeah.
It's not mandatory for speakers. So that would be a good thing to add in is just a
But
1 minute on training.
I mean, they already have the tech crew come in, and I almost want to sit there and say they could literally, take a minute and
Well,
say.
there was somebody there for audio help.
Yeah, and
but
she was
they-
good.
But she should have or could have toured and listened and said, okay,
Yeah,
actually you just got to be bold. You need to, because some moderators will say, can you hear in the back of the room? But even then, people will kind of tune it out
Yeah,
rather than
yeah.
complain.
Yeah, well, she came into our room, and I'm hearing feedback, and she's like, okay, went right back out. So I don't know. I'm
She
sure
didn't push it.
she heard.
We just
the
turned our
feedback.
own down.
Yeah. Well, that's what we
Most
did.
of the-
Yeah, we just
most
turned
of the
everybody
sessions I
down.
was in, though, I didn't notice any problems.
Good.
With
See,
Yeah.
there we go. We need an AI mixer.
They exist.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go.
Then
All
we
right.
just need an AI listener, so you can just send all your staff to listen to the
You don't have
session.
to show up.
And then we'll have
somewhere,
AI
you're done.
speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can all just stay home.
AI, yeah.
WISP
speakers.
is supposed to be working on putting together the committee of taking all the slides and then any recordings, because there was a time
There
where
were a
they
few
were doing
recordings
recordings.
this year,
So
Well, yeah, I did
yeah.
recordings.
Yeah.
and then-
The as far as getting the recordings and putting them up there, that's perfectly fine. But as far as producing the videos, especially in Vegas, it
Run
is
into foul with some-
stupidly expensive to do that here. And the reason is that even if you have volunteers, for every volunteer audio video guy that you have to pay GES $350 an hour for their audio video guy. It's in the contract.
Huh.
Okay. Because
I
it's
typed in-
a union thing. You cannot have your own audio. That's why NINOG doesn't go to Chicago or Vegas, is because they have their own team of like 8 guys that do all the audio video stuff. They do a broadcast. Well, if they go to Vegas, they're going to have 8 guys at $350 an hour sitting there doing nothing because it's a union town, and that's a requirement to do it in one of these venues.
Now, yeah, so, and that's probably why WISPA never officially has any recording.
The problem is you're talking almost $40,000 for recordings of the sessions plus.
Right. I know there was
And-
an experiment with where they experimented with doing that several
Yeah,
years ago.
they did. We put like GoPros on the first table, but then the audio sucks.
Yeah.
And then and then again going back to the speakers not using the microphones. They're not using the microphones anyway, so you're not going to really hear them anyway.
Yeah, you need either so
A comes before B. So
yeah. And the Encore guys, the audio guys, let me jack into the sound system.
Oh, nice.
At all of the talks I do.
Yeah. What you didn't see is how much they charge WISPA for that probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully they aren't going back because I wasn't
Got a
labeled.
change order. So that one
Yeah,
plug
yeah,
in.
yeah.
One
You know,
person at
and
350.
I want to go back
Boom.
where you were saying AI, where the internet's going to be in the next 10 years, or AI is going to be in the next 10 years. I guarantee you, 10 years ago, we would be in this room, all of us, and we would not just have our cell phones; we would have laptops, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
changed.
In the next 10 years, we're going to have a little implant in our eye, and we're just going to
Yeah.
be looking everywhere. But hey, a little implant in our ear, and we put our head on the pillow, and it charges us. So
A lot of times when I've heard people talk about what it's going to be like in 10 years, I think they might be thinking like 50 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
People, like 10 years seems so, and maybe it's a part of just where our society is right now, is 10 years and 50 years feels like it might as well be the same thing.
Well, you
Right?
look
It's so
maybe,
far down.
yeah.
Like it just feels like emotionally, like that's so far down the road.
You look at the movie, movies. What was it? Back to the Future. The future was in 1995, I think, wasn't it?
No, it was more.
2025.
Yeah, it was the 2020.
And then
Yeah,
iRobot
something like that.
took place in 2025. You know, it just
We might have robots soon.
yeah.
Mac, who's not here, sent me a video the other day because he knows I like that stuff. Of a company that's making humanoid robots for the home that is hoping to launch in 2026.
I saw some of those at CES.
Which would be-
Yeah.
And they were AI powered,
Are you-
and
are
I
you
asked
gonna get one?
how many R's in strawberry you got. So
I have a robot lawnmower. I got a
in front
robot
of a whole
vacuum.
group
I
of
like
people,
robots.
it was amazing.
All right,
I'm not gonna sit
well-
there and say what that one's for.
Let's wrap this one
Yep.
up. Aaron, how do people get a hold of you if they want to say hi?
Oh, since this is mass market, I'd say contact my company and say you'd like to talk to Aaron because I have to jealously guard this thing because it's already almost useless with the amount of spam I get.
Yeah.
But certainly if you want to talk to me,
LinkedIn or Facebook or
oh, I don't do any of that stuff.
Okay,
I
good.
do.
Man, he's a
Yeah.
super.
doesn't,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
off grid.
No, it's contact my company, but then I'm a phone call person, so once you get it's not that hard to get through the guard dogs. Once you do that, just you'll get my number. I'll call you. We'll chat.
Sweet. Justin.
You want to get a hold of me? I'm on Facebook, and you can also my company, Skywire, vaskywire.com. It's a good way. So I also have a blog too, but I haven't updated in forever.
Yeah, me
Same.
too. Yeah.
Jeremy. I am Jeremy at preseam.com, or I'm also on LinkedIn.
Sweet.
Linktext.net. You can send us an email, give us a call, and of course get a hold of me from there.
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. Sometimes I log in moderately frequently, like a couple times a month.
I don't post, but yeah, you can message me on LinkedIn for
Yeah.
sure.
On LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can message me on LinkedIn, but the chances of me actually looking at it in this month
Uh-huh. Yeah.
is very
highly
slim.
unlikely.
Yeah.
Same thing with Facebook. I don't. I actually have people that they'll call my cell phone, and that's by default. And it's 10 a.m. I'm already on the phone with somebody else, and they're like, "Well, why didn't you pick up?" I'm like, "I'm busy. I have an office number. Give me a call at my office
Yeah.
where someone can answer your phone call, put a ticket in for you. That way, everything's taken care of." And they're like, "Oh, well, okay."
Yeah.
And then I busted their bubble. But,
Yeah.
hey, it happens.
Yeah, Tommy at lostcreek.tech. And the brotherswisp@gmail.com. So, yeah. Hit us up. Say hi.
All right,
Everybody,
thanks.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
List networking, we talk about equipment and methodology, so sit back and start learning. Lighten up the tower so people can start searching. Shooting up the web in neighborhoods, net surfing. We got horrible jokes, we're loud and annoying, but we're informative facts, we're not disappointing. Just give us a listen, cause fun is the mission. I'm telling you, you don't know what you are missing. Ideas and some good comedy given. If you missed the show already, don't worry, you're forgiven.